5 post-Megxit publicity stunts that ruined Prince Harry's reputation. In the last 6 years, Prince Harry has repeatedly embarrassed himself, damaged the monarchy by association, and demonstrated why the royal family has been wise to keep him at arm's length. Reports suggest King Charles may meet with Prince Harry and his family when they are in the UK next month. While many commentators see that as a hopeful sign of reconciliation, it's worth asking whether Harry has done anything over the past 6 years to earn his way back into the fold. Look, the king is sick with cancer, and I understand his desire to see his grandchildren. I'm sure Thomas Markle has the same desire. That doesn't mean that it doesn't disappoint me for the Prince and Princess of Wales. This video is not about Meghan Markle, but I do think it's important to mention that I still remember Meghan sending a Catherine troll $300 worth of as ever garbage just last month, and Meghan's friend, Omid Scobie, accusing Catherine of racism in Endgame right before she fiercely fought her own cancer battle. I'm not ready to forgive and forget, but back to King Charles's least favorite son. Since leaving royal life, Prince Harry has repeatedly put himself at the center of publicity stunts, embarrassing media appearances, and self-inflicted controversies that have damaged not only his own reputation, but the reputation of the institution he once represented. From fake tattoos and late-night comedy sketches to drug revelations, questionable awards, and some truly cringe-inducing oversharing, Harry has spent years turning himself into a punchline. And if the royal family's priority is protecting the future of the monarchy, these moments are a reminder of why continuing to keep Prince Harry at a distance may be in their best interest. Now, after shamelessly quitting his job as a working royal and hopping on his Tyler Perry-sponsored Freedom Flight, Harry became one of the most closely watched public figures in the world. So much potential. What will he do with it? What will he do next? They said that they were going to go live a life of service. We wanted to watch him define that. Every interview, every cameo, every promotional appearance was instantly dissected and reinterpreted through a post-Megxit lens. Now, supporters see a man reclaiming his own narrative, while critics see a pattern of increasingly hysterical media moments that blur the line between desperation and PR spin. So here are 5 of the most talked about post-Megxit appearances and controversies that contributed to the decline in brand Harry. Number 1, the jelly roll tattoo moment that went viral. One of the more surreal pop culture crossovers involved Harry appearing alongside country rap artist Jelly Roll. Is he a rap artist? What does Jelly Roll even do? I just know that he left Bunny, and I'm not happy about it, okay? I'm Team Bunny is all I know, but he was with Jelly Roll in a segment that circulated online with viewers claiming that he got a tattoo during said interaction. In reality, the moment was an unfunny stage bit rather than a worthy headline about a rebel prince with his fresh ink. But that nuance was often lost in the viral shares. Critics say this is part of a broader shift. Harry showing up in increasingly informal, entertainment-focused settings that feel a long way from that old royal standard of restraint and formality, and I'll just say it, dignity. But supporters countered that, saying that this is exactly the point post-Megxit, a shift from institution to personality-driven media. Either way, it became another moment where Harry's credibility took a dive thanks to a publicity stunt in pursuit of what? Shallow attention? I mean, what was the ultimate objective with that skit? I still couldn't tell you. Harry fakes getting a tattoo. Who cares? You know what I mean? Number 2 is Prince Harry peeing in a stranger's house on his friend James Corden's show. So Harry's appearance on The Late Late Show with James Corden was designed as a lighthearted tour of Los Angeles life, including double-decker buses and candid conversations. What did we learn? We learned that I think Lily likes waffles, and the Queen sent Lily a waffle maker. We learned that Prince Philip didn't like logging out of Zoom, so he would just slam the laptop computer shut when he was done with a conversation. Also, Prince Harry enjoyed The Crown, according to his chat with James Corden. They parodied The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as Harry wandered around the high-profile neighborhood on foot. But one specific moment that circulated online involved Harry and a restroom, believe it or not. He was accused of acting inappropriately in a private home. Well, inappropriately in the sense that what other royal knocks on a stranger's door and says, "Can I use your bathroom?" It was weird. It was one of the lowest points PR wise for Prince Harry. In the segment, he asks to use a stranger's bathroom and allegedly proceeds to use said stranger's bathroom. And this was a major attempt at reinventing Harry. At the time, he was joking, relaxing, and leaning into the ordinary guy in LA framing. Critics like myself argued it undercut the mystique and royal discipline. And I guess it's appropriate to use the word dignity here again. There's a complete lack of dignity involved. Supporters saw it as an intentional repositioning after stepping away from official duties. Look, he's so carefree. Look, he's so happy. Just a regular guy peeing in a random person's house. The impact wasn't driven by one isolated moment, this interview. It's the buildup that matters, an overall sense of informality that starts to define how he's perceived. And bathroom humor, well, we assumed that was beneath him, but God, were we in for a shock because we haven't even talked about Spare yet. We know a lot about Prince Harry down south, unfortunately. Let's jump to number 3, the Stephen Colbert Hallmark Prince bit. On The Late Show, Harry appeared with Stephen Colbert in a skit that, had the show not already been canceled, certainly risked expediting the program to an early grave. Harry tries to play the carefree, cool Brit. His tone leaned heavily into parody, including references that positioned him as, a kind of romantic lead archetype similar to the Hallmark princes, the Hallmark royals. He was auditioning. This wasn't a spontaneous reinvention so much as a structured promotional. I mean, what was he promoting? I don't remember what he was promoting or why he was there. I just remember it was the same day that we found out that Thomas Markle needed his leg amputated. And there was Prince Harry yucking it up on Stephen Colbert's show. And it felt so inappropriate. It felt tone deaf, right? It was just in such poor taste. Critics insist that repeated appearances in parody contexts, and I think this is important, contributed to a softening of his authority and seriousness in public perception. I'd say that and his IQ were the dead giveaway that he wasn't an authority on anything, but, maybe ganja. We'll get there in a second. But yeah, there is mixed messaging here when Harry wants to be like the go-to comedy prince on all the late night shows, because he's been on all of them. Remember, he went to a haunted house with Jimmy Fallon where he cursed repeatedly. He's worked with Stephen Colbert, James Corden, all of them. I don't know if he's worked with maybe his Seth. I don't know. But he's worked with almost all of them. He sat down with Hassan Minaj where he debated Charlie XCX's beef with Taylor Swift, but in the same conversation wanted to be an authority on protecting children online. It's the mixed messaging and the constantly trying to be the Joker that threatens his authority in all of these spaces, whether it's mental health, veteran needs, or protecting children online. It's like, pick a lane, bro. Pick a lane. Number 4, the Gabor Maté interview and the trauma narrative debate. One of the most discussed promotional conversations surrounding Spare was Harry's interview with trauma specialist Dr. Gabor Maté. The discussion focused on psychological injury, emotional processing, and personal history. It also touched on past drug use in a reflective context, framed through trauma and coping mechanisms. Prince Harry basically fully endorses some of his past drug use, justifying how it helped him cope and how it helped him work through things. And it's important to note that this interview is one of the pieces of evidence that the Heritage Foundation inevitably submits to the government when trying to determine how Prince Harry entered the country and whether or not he lied on his application to enter the country. Because here he is, talking glowingly and giving testimonials about past drug use. And he also discusses it in Spare, Courtney Cox's house. I don't know if that was therapeutic or if that was just for funsies. I'm imagining for funsies. But yeah, so Harry has this interesting conversation with the doctor. And critics argued that the tone risked normalizing or glamorizing past drug experiences. Supporters countered that the conversation was therapeutic in nature and not promotional in intent. I would say that that's a ludicrous response, but here we are. Maté later admitted that he regretted participating in the conversation, in the event, which only added fuel to the criticism surrounding that interview. The conversation quickly stopped being about Harry's memoir and past trauma and became a debate about whether he was genuinely sharing his experiences for the greater good or using increasingly controversial disclosures to sell books and generate headlines. But when Maté admitted that he regretted the collaboration, it gave Harry's critics even more ammunition. Number 5, the award circuit controversy. One of both Meghan and Harry's post-Megxit PR strategies has been the shameless acceptance of awards they did not earn. A publicist has helped organize these shallow accolades in an effort to generate positive press for both parties, whether that be the Sussexes and the charity or Harry and said entity. But, the end game is that the event gets free promotion and that Harry or Meghan look like saints or get some positive press because naturally, organically, they generate a lot of negative press. I'll never forgive that idiot Kennedy for presenting Harry and Meghan with the Ripple of Hope Award, highlighting the couple's willingness to speak up about racial injustice and the structural racism they experienced as members of the royal family. Harry, you wore a Nazi costume, bro, and you really had the audacity to just accept that award with a smile on your face and pat yourself on the back. Get a job. But that's just one of many trophies on his wall. He had the audacity to accept the Living Legends of Aviation Award presented by John Travolta, which of course generated attention because of Travolta's historical association with Princess Diana. Separately, his acceptance of the Pat Tillman Award at the ESPYs sparked stronger backlash, particularly from members of Pat Tillman's family, and a public petition questioning that decision. Supporters framed the award as recognition of veteran advocacy work and mental health initiatives through the Invictus Games. Look, the disclaimer is always that we love the Invictus Games, but I also think that we should stress within the same breath that Harry and Meghan might be exploiting the Invictus Games for their own positive PR. I said what I said. Critics like myself argued that the optics were insensitive and questioned the selection criteria. I mean, Pat Tillman died for his country, and Prince Harry loves quitting jobs. It's like his favorite thing to do. Regardless of perspective, the controversy reinforced a reoccurring theme. Harry's post-royal honors are rarely received through hard work or any effort. Sometimes all it takes is an opportunistic publicist that is willing to ignore how self-serving their client is, in my opinion. All right, let's jump to an honorable mention, okay? Spare and the Frozen Todger. My God, no discussion of Harry's post-Megxit media era would be complete without referencing his memoir, Spare. One of the most widely circulated excerpts involved an anecdote about a frostbitten hangdown during a polar expedition, which quickly became late-night comedy material. How could it not? I mean, how did you not know what this would become, Harry, and ghost blogger, ghostwriter? Jimmy Kimmel and other comedians repeatedly referenced it in their monologues, turning what was intended as a, I don't know what personal vulnerability into a global punchline. I mean, I really don't know. How would you describe that? If you're thinking about your deceased mother while applying Elizabeth Arden cream to your peanut, should that be public knowledge? I wouldn't even tell that to a therapist. If I'm being honest, I would have kept that to myself. I wouldn't even tell that to ChatGPT. I would have kept it to myself. Harry, is that even on your regrets list? For the love of God. Hey everyone, Kinsey Schofield here, and I want to tell you about today's sponsor. It's a total game changer, Peak's Liver Detox Protocol. You may not know it, but your liver handles a lot: energy, hormones, digestion, and even your mood. But with all the stress and toxins from everyday life, it needs some love. Forget harsh cleanses. Peak delivers gentle daily support inspired by traditional Chinese medicine. Their routine uses two simple blends. The first is a warming turmeric mix with cinnamon and black pepper, designed to help the body absorb it better and support the liver while calming inflammation. The second is a ginger and cinnamon blend that helps with blood flow, digestion, bloating, and immune support. The magic is how they work together to activate and flush for better digestion, stable energy, less brain fog, and that light, clear feeling. My energy is consistent, my skin is clear, and less bloating. That's Peak, where spirit meets science. Redefine your standard of health, secure 20% off your order, and begin your intentional wellness journey today at peaklife.com/Kinsey. That's PIQUE life.com/Kinsey. Thanks so much. Now, critics argue this exemplifies a broader reputational shift, intimate self-disclosure, which just feeds that entertainment cycle, the headlines, the clickbait, the social media commentary. And it's difficult to control it once it's released. Harry saw that on full display with some of these late night guys having a pop at him that he's clearly trying to impress. That's why he spends so much time on their shows. While, by the way, simultaneously complaining about a lack of privacy, the hypocrisy. It's always there, right? Supporters argue that it reflects unprecedented honesty from a public figure raised under extreme media restrictions. What a stretch. It was weird, and you know it. If you say that that disclosure was not weird, then you're weird. Think about that. Taken individually, some of these moments might seem harmless, a comedy sketch here, an awkward interview there, a publicity stunt that misses the mark, but together they paint a picture of someone who has spent the last 6 years trading royal dignity for celebrity attention. This guy parties with the Kardashians on purpose. That's a thing. That's why reports of a potential meeting between King Charles and Prince Harry have so many royal watchers feeling defeated. Reconciliation is one thing, reintegration is another. The challenge for the royal family isn't whether Harry is family. He's always going to be family. The challenge is whether Harry has shown that he can be trusted not to create another distraction, another controversy, or another headline that reflects poorly on them, on the institution, on them individually. I mean, how many times throughout the Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor saga have we said guilt by association, right? Looking back at these moments, it's hard to argue that Harry has made that case, that he's matured or that he knows better. He's not, as far as we understand, he's never apologized to his family. He's never apologized to the British public. And so no, I haven't seen that growth. I haven't seen that evolution. If anything, he spent the last 6 years proving why the royal family has been right to keep him at arm's length. At this point, Prince Harry isn't just a problem for himself. He's become a liability for the monarchy. And to quote my best girlfriend, Miss Patricia, I'll believe it when I see it. Harry and Meghan have been using their children, in my opinion, as emotional blackmail and clickbait for years. I said this probably last week. I'll keep saying it. It's interesting to me that 2 weeks ago, the Sussex team was telling People magazine that Meghan and the kids were not on their way to the UK. Last week, all systems go. I think that they love the will they won't they game. I think that they realize that it generates headlines. And yeah, I don't know whether they'll actually all show up or not, or will Meghan at the last moment decide to pull out and say, I don't feel safe, or one of the kids is sick. I think that they love creating confusion, and I think that they love generating false headlines, and they love fake news, in my personal opinion. So I don't know. I think that the royal family is in a better position when they keep their distance. I don't think that Harry and Meghan are going to contribute anything valuable to the institution, and have proven to be dangerous. And we just talked about silly things. We didn't even talk about all of the mean-spirited things that Harry and Meghan have done over the last 6 years. This was just stuff that made Harry look like an idiot. Like the time, this is pre-Meghan, that he was naked in Vegas, or the time he wore the Nazi costume. I mean, Harry's an idiot, but this was just Harry being an idiot. We could create an entirely different list of all of the mean-spirited things they have done to the British royal family, which again, I would stress is why they need to keep their distance and stay away from these two. I don't trust them. I don't think that if you guys are in the mood for a reunion, call Thomas Markle. I'm sure he'd love to meet his grandchildren for the first time. It's not like he hasn't been struggling over the last few years. Yes, he has. And remember, the only reason Meghan reached out was because at the same time that he was having his leg amputated, she was trying to promote a family Christmas special. The karma gods were singing. The karma gods were there. My gosh. Oh, well. Agree with me, disagree with me. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think Harry and Meghan are really bringing the kids to see King Charles? Who knows? I mean, if they do, to me, it tells me that they are truly in a really terrible spot, because that's eating crow. Like that's a super sign of struggle to me, if that is the case. But agree with me, disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And what did I miss? Because Harry is so dumb that as I put this list together, I was like, what else has he done that is so idiotic that I missed? Because I know it exists. I know it's out there. Let me know. Got a lot of work to do over the next 2 weeks, huh?